In the ongoing trade battle between the US and China, things are heating up again. President Donald Trump has just proposed a new tariff potentially as high as 10% on Chinese imports. But what's really at stake? And why, despite these threats, are Chinese exports still growing? Let's break it down. It all started with a tweet. On Tuesday, President Donald Trump said he was considering imposing a 10% tariff on goods imported from China, a move that could take effect as soon as February 1st. But this isn't the first time Trump has taken aim at China. During his campaign, he promised to impose tariffs as high as 60% on Chinese goods to protect American interests. And with this latest proposal, Trump is doubling down on his protectionist approach. You might be wondering, if the goal of these tariffs is to hurt China's economy, why are Chinese exports still increasing? Despite these threats, Chinese exports to the US have been on the rise. In fact, in November 2024, Chinese exports to the US grew by 8% compared to the previous year. In total, Chinese exports reached $47.3 billion that month, and overall exports for China hit a record high in December, up by 10.7%. It seems that American businesses, fearing future tariffs, have been buying up Chinese goods in advance, stocking up before the price rises. In fact, from July to November 2024, US imports from China grew by 6.8%. But it's not all good news for the US, as US exports to China dropped by 11.2%. In November 2024, this growing trade imbalance suggests that the tariffs might not be working as intended, at least not for the US. Instead of shrinking, the US trade deficit with China has gotten even bigger. So what's the bigger picture? According to trade experts, the escalating tariffs may be pushing China to diversify its trade partnerships. And this could have long-term consequences. This could mean China strengthening its economic ties with other countries, especially in emerging markets. China's Belt and Road Initiative is one example of this, aiming to connect Asia, Africa, Europe, and Latin America through infrastructure projects. But what does this mean for American consumers? Well, higher tariffs could lead to increased prices on everyday goods. A report from the Congressional Budget Office suggests that Trump's tariffs could lead to a rise in inflation, potentially costing the average American family an additional $1,560 per year by 2026. So while tariffs might help reduce the US trade deficit in the short term, they could hurt consumers in the long run. But one thing is clear. The trade war between the two largest economies in the world is far from over. Whether it's tariffs, trade deals, or strategic shifts, the consequences will be felt globally. For more news, updates, and explainers, stay tuned to Dawn News English.